Okay, this is the Bitcoin Classroom channel, but in this video, I'm going to show you how to do something that isn't necessarily 100% related to Bitcoin. This video supports our Classroom series on multisig wallets, and there's an important piece of saving your multisig wallet configuration file where it comes in pretty handy to know how to encrypt those files. So right now we have our configuration files all saved just on a folder on the desktop. These files are out in the open. They're not encrypted in any way. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you how to create an encrypted file where you can store all these things in. We're actually going to, in order to open the file, you need to mount it as a new drive and type in the password to be able to access the files. So to do that, we're going to use a program called VeraCrypt, which I already have downloaded and installed. And so the first thing we're going to do in VeraCrypt is click on Create Volume. And so like I was saying before, what we're going to do is actually create an encrypted file container. So I'll leave that checked. Click Next. We'll just do a standard volume. And now we're going to select a file. So this is really just the file location. So we're just going to pick the desktop. And we're going to call it Classroom Nostr. But the key here is that VeraCrypt uses the file extension .hc. So we're going to include that in the file name. And click Save. All right, and we're going to click Next. Okay, we're going to leave all the default encryption algorithms and hash algorithms. We'll click Next. We're just going to use something small. We'll choose like a 10 megabyte file. This should be plenty of space for us to store configuration files or other text files that we think might be necessary for our multisig setup, but it's not going to take up very much space. So we'll just go with the 10 megabytes. All right, so now we need to put a password. So VeraCrypt wants you to put a big, long, giant, very secure password. But for this, we're just going to use Bitcoin Classroom. And we'll repeat that. And why don't we just display password so I can make sure I checked it. Okay, that looks correct. And we'll go with that for now and click Next. So you can see here, VeraCrypt is upset that I'm not using a more sophisticated password. But for this video, this should be fine. So we're just going to go ahead. All right, so I'm not sure, maybe you've seen something like this before, but really what VeraCrypt is doing right now is it's collecting randomness, also called entropy. And what it's doing is it's having me move my mouse around the window, and as I move it in a random manner that it would be very hard to replicate, it's the longer I keep moving this mouse, the more random my movements become, and the harder it would ever be to replicate my mouse movements. So once it's decided that we've collected enough, right now it's already turned green. So for this, I'm going to say that's probably sufficient, and we're going to click Format. Okay, so now we have a new volume created. And we're going to exit this. And so now let's open it up. Okay, so I always like to scroll all the way down to Z. You can choose any of these drives are open, so it doesn't really matter. But now we're going to select our file. And again, we save that right to the desktop. So see, now we've got classroomrestore.hc. So let's click Open. And we're going to click Mount. Okay, so now it's asking us for that password. There we go. Display, make sure I got it right. Okay. And we'll click OK. Okay, so now what's actually happened is we should have a new drive showing up. So if I open our Explorer window, indeed, I've got local drive Z now and it doesn't have any files on it. So what I'll do is I'll take these Classroom Restore files and let's put those right onto drive Z. Okay, so now we've got all of our restoration files that we've saved, our cold card backup files, Sparrow, our BSMS file. When we saved a Nunchuck, we saved that config file. So we've got all our configuration files saved here. We can now delete them from the desktop. All right, and we can close this file and click dismount. Okay, and so now drive Z should be gone. Indeed, drive Z is just been dismounted. Okay, so no one can get access to these files anymore. And then if you wanted to restore them, if you want to get them back, what you could do is, we already have it selected here. We'd select that file, select drive Z, click mount, type in the password. Okay, and now drive Z should be back. And there we go. We've got our files still saved here. So there you go. So in this video, we showed how to create an encrypted file that you can save your multisig configuration files in.